I was going to give it exactly until 7 o'clock. I just logged on a little bit earlier to join. I am on Instagram, Facebook, ministry page, Healing for Her, and on my YouTube at Shy Right. Wherever you are watching from, please say hey, drop something in the comments. Although I'm going to be sharing about something, you can definitely put questions uh, just to, create that dialogue and to go ahead and talk. But Sundays with Shy is the fifth for those that have never done a get on for about just talk whatever is me, what I feel led to talk about, have candid conversations in that time frame. So I will be on every Sunday. The plan mine is my birthday, the 28th. But that I'm going to go ahead and do what I as you guys are watching. Again, you can comment, give feedback, share the video, and we're gonna get started in a moment or so. And I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And a few things are going on. I'm gonna take this moment to do the announcements. A few things are going on. So November 6th, the Healing for Her experience. That is a time for women just to be able to come together in a space and to release whatever we need to release to God, for us to be able to receive what we need to receive, for us to get a word, for us to start our healing, whatever it is. But this is just a space that God allowed me to cultivate, to be able to just bring breakthrough in whatever area that you as a woman are in need of. The Healing for Her experience, that is November 6th, as well as November 20th. I have the Healing for Her life class that you can definitely register for. Get on the interest list for. So I've already had people begin to sign up on the interest list. You will be receiving an email, but I'm excited about on. So get in where you fit in. And as I said, as you watch, as well as if you're catching on a replay, hashtag replay and share your thoughts. So one, and I'm going to start. So welcome to Sundays with Shy. If you see the title of the live, it is titled Ways to Effectively Help You Heal. And what I mean by that is there isn't one formula that's going to work for everyone, but there's going to be something in that formula that you can take and allow it to work for you, right? Just like with anything, right? And effectively, the effectively part is because my personal experience, I was not taught how to heal. What I was taught was pray, give it to God, go to the altar, um, you know, talk to God. Um, that's all I was told, right? And that's definitely a part of it. But then what happens to the rest, right? So I've prayed, but what if I'm so hurt or so mad or so just caught off by the situation? Like, I'm not even trying to pray. So then what? Like, what do you want me to do? So having that experience, I'm like, okay, has someone just came along and said, hey, I understand how you feel because I may not have gone through the same thing, but this is my experience and this is what I did to help me. So back in the day, yeah, we used to have testimony service, but all the testimonies I heard was about like how long somebody been saved and God covered and protecting us. But it's like, hey, I'm sitting here, I'm hurt, I'm trying to figure things out. Like, what do I do with this? So I have 7 things written down, And the two that I've already said, which is, seeking God, asking God for what you want, prayer, that's a part of it. But for me, it's like so much more. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And that's what I'm going to share. And again, you can give your feedback or whatever your comments and reference. So in addition to praying about it, um, going to the altar, because sometimes depending on what it is that we're experiencing, we can't even process it to understand or to know what we need to ask for or to know what we need to do, right? So uh, the things that I came up with were things that I've done and I've used, like all of these things to one of the and this is not in any particular order, right? So, um, uh, seek God, ask God for what you want, work in a speak life over yourself in the situation, acknowledge your feelings and feel them, embrace them. Um, get an accountability partner, and lastly, I have like setting small goals, and I'll go. But these are right? Again, no particular order. These are just seven. Um, so because there were times where I didn't want to pray because, like, why? I'm that hurt, and I'm that. Have you ever been so hurt like you didn't have words? Like, in any time you opened up your mouth, you knew you were gonna cry. So I remember sitting there and I had just I just had an abortion. I was dating a married man, but he was separated. But unbeknownst to me, they had got back together. So I was at work and I felt so bad, right? Because God really, really got on me. You gonna have to follow me for that story. But God really got me about that, right? Really bad. And I was at work and I had a job where you had to talk on the phone. And every time I went to open my mouth, I just would break down and cry. So I left work. I left work. I was just driving on the freeway. Then it's like, oh, okay, let me call my godmother. I called my godmother. I went to the house and I just cried and cried and cried. And I opened up to her and I shared. And then you shared some things with me. But I'm saying when you're in a place like that, as saved as you are, and as close to God of a relationship you may have with Him, but we are human and we are feelings. Everybody's go to. That's everybody do. And I know and understand. I come from that generation, that culture that everything was pray, go to the altar, ask for forgiveness. You better get it right. It's like, okay, but so what do I do in the meantime? That's the culture and so that's where you have all these other things because I was so hurt and frustrated I couldn't pray. So I needed to talk to somebody first, right? So when I say get an accountability partner, like somebody that you can share information with that's going to cover you that you can trust. And once I was able to do that broke something, then I was able to begin to pray a little bit, to God and ask for forgiveness and do all of those things. Ask God for what it is that I needed. Lord, give me strength. Help me to get through this moment because I feel like, I'm losing my mind or I feel like, pain and the guilt of it is so much. I don't know what to do with this. So Lord, I'm asking for your strength, right? So it wasn't until I was able to get all that out to somebody where I got to the place where it was like, okay, does it help me, let's just say go from 10, down to 7. And I began to be like, okay, Let me acknowledge these feelings, right? I have that on here. Acknowledging your feelings, because oftentimes we're taught directly and indirectly. Um, if it doesn't, uh, it, let's avoid it. If you're going to cry, that's a sign of being weak. Like, I don't cry. Like, who cries? It's natural. It's healthy to cry. It allows release. But some of us, life has been so hard, and we've had to do so many things that what should be natural has been taught that it's weak, or I'm so busy trying to figure things out, I don't even have time to fully process feelings, right? So again, like I said, it's all of the seven things that I have, but in no particular, you're gonna grieve how you grieve, right? You're gonna process how you process, right? And so, um, speaking life over yourself in the situation. So first, we must understand that healing it is a process. And I think in one of the posts I said, healing, something to the effect of healing is a continuous process, but you just like you just grow in it, right? And so with that being said, when we talk about uh, once we get our strength, we're to the, we've talked to somebody, we're able to get our head somewhat wrapped around what's going on, um because some stuff can happen so fast, you don't have time to process and feel. um and for those of us that have lost people, that is one of the processes that is like, okay, you really just have to do. It's like, okay, my mom passed on the 14th, but we had a certain number of days to find somewhere for her body to go. And then immediately once they got her body, okay, well, what day do you guys want to have the service? We have these dates available. Um, the wake is going to be on this day. The funeral is going to be on this day. And it's like, whoa, okay. Like, I can't even grasp the fact that she passed, how she passed, what did she even pass for? Because it took 3 months for us to find that out from the coroners. So I can't even process this stuff, because now it's like, okay, gotta find a funeral home, gotta figure this out. Okay, how much is this? Like, what do you do? Okay, obituaries, okay, all of these things. So just depending on what your thing is that you're trying to that you're wanting to heal from, depending on what it is and how it occurred, you're still trying to wrap your head around it, right? So some of these things that I talked about, they're going to come once you're able to wrap your head around it. Like, you know, uh our first thing, my best friend was there, she prayed. I didn't pray, she prayed. I couldn't pray. I'm like, what is this? But I had somebody prayed. Um Speaking life over yourself in the situation. For me, I didn't have feelings of what was going on to after everything was over, after the funeral. And then it was like, okay, now I can process. So for somebody, it's like, now I just found this out about this process that, or now this just happened to me. And how do I don't know how I feel about it, because it just happened. You know how something happens and immediately somebody said, well, how do you, it's like, well, it just happened. Like, what do you, it just happened, right? So again, these seven things, seeking God, because it's one thing to pray and to seek God, but sometimes we forget that we can ask God for what it is that we need. That we can be that transparent and say, Lord, give me strength. Okay, Lord, I need you, because we can talk to him real, right? I need you um to send some type of help, a healthy distraction or something, because I feel like I'm about to go to their house and it's gonna be a situation. Like, we can really talk to God in a real way and ask him for what we need. So for anybody that has been quote unquote churched and not taught that you can really just talk to God like you would talk to a friend, a father, another person, like you really can. And God knows that, because at the end of the day, He knows how He made us. He knows how He made us. So, um, speaking life over the situation, and my experience, this is came after the dust has settled, and now I'm really feeling the aftermath or those feelings, and the enemy is coming in, trying to feed off the fact that I'm sad or I'm feeling depressed. I don't know what to do. So when I speak life over your situation, is to combat the questioning of the enemy, and to combat what it is that he's trying to speak over our lives, right? Oh, you're um, that guy, he did that to you, so you feel bad about yourself. No one else is going to love you or appreciate you, and that's where we know I am lovable. Like, someone will come that will, take care of my heart instead of hurting my heart. Speaking life into um, position, because the enemy has a job. His job is to kill, steal, and destroy. So I talk a lot about mindset, because that's where it all started. So if you just had a traumatic experience, you just had an experience where you hurt, you became broken, and all of that, the enemy is going to be right there to feed off the situation, to make you think that you're not who you were before the situation happened. And so once you get a grasp on everything, or even when you're just aware of what's going on and you're still processing, you just speak life into the situation. Like, Lord, I know what your words say. You're going to cover me, you're going to protect me. I'm more conqueror, greater is he that is in me than he is in the world. Like, you just begin to quote that, right? And again, in no particular order, because yeah, healing goes in waves. You can have a day where you chill and everything is fine, and then an hour from that, you're in tears. An hour or two later, you're angry. So, no things and help. You could just you can use for this is 10, Exodus 14 and 14, and James 1 and 5. First Peter 5 and 10, Exodus 14 and 14, James 1 and 5. Another point that I mentioned was setting goals. And this is during the process where you're just like, okay, I've set, I've set a while. Today, my goal is I'm going to get out of bed and wash my face. That's my goal for today. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to get out of the bed and I'm going to wash my face. Because the reality of the situation is, yes, we're spirit, and we are human, right? We're soul, right? But when things happen, for most of us, the natural part of us is going to respond or react. And don't I do not recall hearing women's stories about what they did to help them get through the process, what they did to cope with situations, what they did to help them overcome. So nobody ever sat down with me and said, okay, take your time. No, we don't want you to get stuck there, but just take your time. Take your time. And it's unfortunate that we live life and we have all of these experiences and nobody is telling us nothing. Nobody, for some of us, nobody is telling us nothing, because to be hurt, um, to be discarded, to be mistreated, unless it was type of abusive situation where it was seen by others, it was always see as mama is always crying or daddy is always angry, but we don't know the process and how she's making it, how she made it out. You just look up and daddy ain't there no more, and it's just y'all. So, um, in whatever order that you can do these things, you set your small goals. Um, and I just have examples here. Today I'm gonna get out of bed, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna call my accountability partner. And what I just simply mean by that, that's just somebody you can trust, somebody that's gonna walk with you through this, somebody that's gonna be there to listen, somebody that's gonna be there to pray when you can't pray, somebody that's gonna be there to talk you off the bridge. You don't want to call somebody that's gonna be like, "I'll ride out with you right now." That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. We want to ride or die, but we don't want. We're not trying to get charges, right? We're not trying to get charges. So, effective ways to heal, right? Because you're already hurt. We don't want to cause more pain and damage to ourselves. And then acknowledging your feelings and allowing yourself to feel them. Don't run away from them. It is 100% okay to be vulnerable. It is 100% okay to be not in control of your feelings. It is 100% okay to cry. It is 100% okay to even scream. Like, I miss Iyanla because um a lot of things that she used to help people heal, that's like real stuff. Like, that's effective. Um, I remember one time I had to scream it out. I had to release that pain and it came out in a form of a scream. Like, that is okay. You are not crazy. Like, it's just because we wasn't taught this stuff. And in most cases, we're taught to bottle this stuff in. We hold it in, and then stuff happens again. We hold it in. We have another experience. We hold it in. Stuff happens, keeps on happening. We hold it in because we're taught you got to be strong. You got to just keep doing what you got to do. You got to just move with the punches. Ain't nobody going to be there to help you. You got to figure it out for you and them babies. We're taught all of this stuff, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong because it is unhealthy to hold this stuff. This stuff will manifest in your body and make you sick physically as well as mentally. Not okay. It is okay to cry. It is okay to scream if you need to scream to release this stuff. Because what happens when something continues to build up pressure? One day, it's all know, heard stories of what it looks like when something pops. That's what we're trying to avoid. Those are the cycles that we are trying to break. And those are the cycles that we do have the ability, the tool sets to be able to break. So have yourself a good cry. Have yourself a good cry. It's strength in crying because you release that stuff It allows you to get clear. You release those some of those feelings, if not all of those feelings and those emotions that's sitting there just simmering, ready to explode. So cry. If you ain't had a good cry, you've been experiencing a on earth, I give you permission to cry if ain't nobody else giving you that permission to just release and free yourself. And then, like I said, once you're to that point, in no particular order, use these however you can. But when you're talking to God, be real and honest and transparent with God, and tell Him what you want, tell Him what you need. Because the day that I, I was about to, it was to go down. Yeah, I was about to call a sitter, and then I was about to go back to away. And I was like, okay, Lord, this is how I'm feeling. So, um, if you are who you say you are, I'm gonna need you to send something, let something happen right now, because I'm like 2.5 seconds from picking up the phone and saying, hey, can you come through for about an hour? But if something pop off, this the card you would use. Like I'm like, that's real talk. So, um, oh yeah, I'm reading a comment. Yes, my tears don't mean defeat. I'm working on something. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. That part. That part. So that ain't being strong. Keeping your emotions and all that strong. That's unhealthy. That's adding to you. That's adding to the that's already applied on. So learn to release those feelings. So ask God for what you need. He did send somebody. He sent the whole crew. Your girl stayed in the house that night. He sent the whole crew. Amen. But when we pray, like, be real and honest with God. Ask Him for what you need, what you want. And like I said, speak life over yourself in the situation. Um, I made a post and I talk about for like 2.5 seconds. The thought of suicide crossed my mind. And literally that thought came right after the thought. I said, Jesus. That's all I could say. I was so just so in a dark place. The thought came. I said, Jesus. That's all I could say. And I remember landing just physically drained, mentally drained, emotionally drained, just over it. And um, the enemy coming to speak. And what I thought of in that moment, I saw two people. And the only thing I said, pray for me. They asking questions. I said, pray for me. Tried to ask them, just pray for me. And I hung up the phone. I called the other person. I said, just pray for me. They tried to ask questions, just pray for me. Because that's all I could say. Jesus, and then the two people that I last talked to, I called them and said, just pray for me. Just pray for me. So when I talk about speaking life over yourself in a situation, like I said, sometimes you won't be able to, but you have that person that is there, that's covering you, that's protecting you, where you can call and say, you know what, I'm not feeling it today, but can you pray for me? Can you pray over the situation? Because that's what we're there for, right? To cover one another, right? So these 7 things, I'm going to repeat the 7 things. You can write them down, like I said, in no particular order. But seek God, ask God for what you need and what you want. Work and apply the word of God. Speak life over yourself in the situation. Acknowledge your feelings and feel them. Get someone somebody that's going to cover you, that know how to pray, that can get a prayer through. And then also set small goals. I'm gonna get out the bed. I'm gonna wash my face. I'm gonna eat something today. I'm gonna go for a walk, whatever that may be. Um, Scriptures I gave was 1 Peter 5:10, Exodus 14:14, James 1:5. Then I have a note. Um, we're not going to avoid our reality to become consumed by it. We will control what we can and let God take care of. Don't even take care of what we can control, right? So, um, ways to effectively heal. Again, a lot of this stuff was not talked around for a whole year. You know, me to figure out what do I do with this? I have this guilt, this shame, this pain. I'm traumatized every time I see a baby. You know, after I had my abortion, and it was nobody there to help me. It literally was God. And I remember it took me a year to date from the time that I had the abortion to actually forgive myself. But if I had some tools and some resources and some other women giving me their stories and their encouragement, I could have healed that or begin to heal that so much sooner. I could have released myself from the jail that I was holding myself in. I knew that God forgave me. I couldn't forgive myself. And that's why I talk about forgiving ourselves a lot, because we say, oh, I forgave them. I know God forgave me. And sometimes because of the things that we do and some of the stuff nobody knows of ourselves, but that's where healing that it has to take place, because you have to be in a place where you say, that's where I was, that's who I was, and that's not who I'm going to be. So God, I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself for that, because I didn't know any better, or I did and I just chose to do that. Because everything that we experience in life, we are going to be able to use it to give God glory. That's the good part of the story. That once we heal, once we overcome, we are going to be able to use that. And he said, and it made it seem like everybody was talking about you. Everybody, and some people did. They talked about you. They counted you out. They said that you were gonna be nothing. They else and did everything else. And then God said, let them do that. Let them do that. Because they gonna see my glory. They gonna see the same person that they talk about, the same person that they counted out, the same person that they forgot my hand was over. I'm going to raise you up to give me the glory, set them up. That's the best way. That's how God do it, right? So that's what I wanted to start off talking about, effective ways to heal, because I've been doing this over 20 years and nobody talked to me. Nobody talked to me. But God has held my hand and helped me through a lot of stuff. And it wasn't deep where I was like, oh Lord, no, you I'm street first, church second. I was having some real conversations with God, and I was doing some real contemplating. I was really banging on people like, oh, this what you doing? Like, okay, okay. So I just, you can be real, honest, and vulnerable, and it's okay. It is okay. But I just want us to get out of the unhealthy habit that we have to hold on to this stuff, because that's part of the thing that's killing us, that's keeping us feeling like we overcome, and we will. So I hope you like, comment, all of that. Sundays with Shy every third and the Healing for Life class that starts on November 20th. So if you are interested, please join the interest list. And the Healing for Her experience, y'all. Like, seriously, like, we just really been trying to contain ourselves, because I know on the 6th it's about to go down. But deliverance, new life, release, everything. Like I said, it's somebody's prayer. It's some women's prayer. And God is about to answer. He's starting to answer now. Really about to answer on the 6th. He show up. So thank you, ladies, for tuning in. I hope to see y'all on the 3rd and 1st Sunday. Got an experience or in the Healing for Her Life class. Y'all have a great day and a great um if you just need to run something by somebody, I'm not in the streets no more. I can be your ride or die. I can go ahead and be a listening ear, and you know, and I have others that can definitely be a support to you as well. So you're welcome for joining, and I'll see y'all soon. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so at Shy Mo Right, and to my YouTube because I'm about to start working really hard at. Later, y'all.